Hi, everybody. Welcome to this week's edition of the Comic Book Syndicate. This is the Comic Book Syndicate. I'm Mike L., and here's George.
The first book we're reviewing is Superman Origins. Is it Origins?
Yes.
Secret Origins? Regular Origins?
Secret Origins.
Issue 6. Awesome. The art is beautiful, and he looks just like Christopher Reeve in it. It's super cool.
I thought the book was also very, very good. The artwork was incredibly impressive. The expressions were amazing, and you could really feel like the convictions in each of them. I loved how Christopher Reeve, like Superman, was also very meek as Clark Kent, and then he was very majestic as Superman. They did that really, really well. I love Lois Lane, and I think it's going to be a really, really great series.
I was just going to talk about how he looked a lot like Christopher Reeves, but everybody did that already, so I really have nothing more to say, but it was kind of fun to read.
I think Jeff Johns has done the impossible. He's surprised me. I never thought he was a great writer till now. This is a really good story. A reintroduction of Metallo with his old costume updated. And at the end of the story, we're given a cliffhanger with Superman in a situation we've never seen him before as a fugitive of the United States Army, which is awesome. So I recommend this issue. Pick it up.
All right, the next book is Invincible. Before I get into that, I just want to say one last thing. They have retold Superman's origin a million times. This is another one of those series. So in that sense, it's great for new readers, and absolutely I'd pick it up from the beginning. It's beautiful, but it is just Superman's origin again, but it's probably the best one I've seen. And this is Invincible. This is, what's it called again? Invincible Returns. Invincible Returns. And this is supposed to be a jump-on point where you're supposed to be able to like get into the Invincible series. I have read every single Invincible book. I only read half of this because I wanted to save the rest. It is so good, but there's no way you can just jump in on this. The art is like it always is. You get to see all your favorite characters, and just what I glimpsed at, all those great storylines we're all waiting for are all going to be answered in this book. It looks awesome.
George is right. You can't just jump into this. It's my first time ever reading an Invincible book, and I have no idea what's going on. It was very pretty, like you mentioned, and I would actually like to go back and see what happens in the Invincible story. Thanks.
I was in the same boat as Andrew because I sort of just jumped in. I had never read one of these books before. But I appreciate the effort of the writer because there's a lot of dialogue and there was a lot there. And if I knew a lot of the backstory, I probably would have appreciated a lot more because it seemed really interesting. The characters seemed really full. The situation seemed really, really great. And yeah, but don't jump into it if you've never read it. Even the number one is a little bit misleading.
I refuse to read that comic because they restarted over number one. But anyway, on to S.H.I.E.L.D. Another new number one, reimagining S.H.I.E.L.D. In the context of all ancient history, from Egypt to Rome to Leonardo da Vinci. A really fairly well-written story, really good art. I'm not sure if I'm going to enjoy this version of S.H.I.E.L.D. when it's all said and done, but this is a good issue, so pick it up.
Yeah, I have a really big problem with the fact that Leonardo da Vinci is the man he is in this book. You can't just take historical figures from all kind of walks of time and put them in this book and not really explain what they have to do other than the fact that they make S.H.I.E.L.D. seem really cool over the course of history. I can't recommend this except if you like really good art. The art's really good. Yeah.
I thought the artwork in it was quite fantastic, but at the same time, I thought it moved along a little too quick. It seemed like they were trying to get somewhere in a hurry. I think they could have spent a little bit more time developing it, maybe given it another 10 pages or so. The Leonardo da Vinci thing, I think it might be an interesting thing, but at the same time, they kind of just made it all cheesy. It's like, I am Leonardo da Vinci, and it was slightly disappointing in that. But I'm intrigued to read more.
I thought this book was gorgeous, beautiful. I'm a newcomer to S.H.I.E.L.D., and I'm intrigued. I want to see what's going on. I thought the introduction of Leonardo da Vinci was comical because he's a very, like, gruff-looking, burly-looking dude, and I want to see where they go with that. So obviously he's going to have something on the physical aspect and not just his mental aspect, which you usually focus on when you talk about Leonardo da Vinci. And I also saw, I think, some hidden characters in the background. I'm interested to see where they go with that.
Now we're going to be doing issue number 34 of Buffy, and I liked this comic. I actually haven't read a Buffy comic, and so it was a little confusing because I wasn't quite sure what the Twilight thing was, but There was a lot of sex in it, I will say, which sex sells, so maybe you'll like that. But honestly, it was good. The characters are still very, very specific to the cartoon or the TV show, and I thought the artwork was really well done. And I would probably want to read back a bit again to sort of figure out what was going on, but I did enjoy it.
I agree with Michelle. The artwork is always great. George Jeanty, the Joe Chen covers are always great too. It's the second issue in an arc by Brad Meltzer. It's a little bit confusing. I'd say it's the most confusing story in the arc. So if you want to start reading Buffy, I would suggest going back to the TV show. And if not going back to the TV show, go back to the start of the issues where season 8 started. But I would recommend this.
Not overly familiar with Buffy, but this was a good read. Brad Meltzer was a good writer. He seems to have an obsession with certain positions of sex, but whatever. It's a good story. Pick it up. If you're a Buffy fan, you'll love it. If you're not a Buffy fan, it's enough to get you into it, but it is very confusing. I didn't know what the heck was going on, to be honest.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us again at the Comic Book Syndicate. Thanks again to Border City Comics for providing the comics, and we'll see you next week for more reviews. I'm a fish fan. I like fish. Mm-hmm. Wait a minute, I don't like fish. I am a fish.
Good enough. This is my pal George.
Get ready, rotate.
Yeah, just next
We are
Why not? Yeah.
camera. Just hold your hand up.
I think we're on stage, right? Like, no?